Howdy, this is a righteous farmer. I know I can't compete with all these crazy videos we love to watch, but I'm in the mood to make some myself. And just maybe I'll be able to give you some hints and tricks about successful home gardening. Righteous Farmer here, giving a sneak peek into the future. You just never know what you're liable to run into when at first you attempt to garden. You know, I just shot this video here about 10 minutes ago, my current time, at the end of May. But you know, it's been raining about every 5 minutes and I still haven't gotten my pickles and corn into the ground, as you can see. I have a couple more videos in the can all ready to be edited as I run this one up for your viewing pleasure today. We'll get all caught up eventually, or you are already caught up. That's hard to tell with these crazy time currents in YouTube, because what's today for me may be 2076 for you. Wow! Send me a note from the future and tell me how I'm doing. Done. Thanks. Now, on with the tomato stringing, which took place 3 weeks ago my time. Yeah, so the first thing we have to do is to begin, before we do our tomatoes, is the post inspection. You see right here, let's see, we have missing a nail right here. So Mr. OT, did you know you kind of sound like a big old fat gobby woodpecker? Well, welcome garden fans to the yearly tomato trellis construction project. Hey, if you're kind of new here, you're looking at right about the 7th edition of my attempt to document my southern garden from seed to soup. You can always go back as far as you want in the lineup to see what you missed so far. Just now, we're up to the point of stringing the baling wire between the landscape timbers as illustrated on your screen or device. Like, subscribe, join, recommend, and donate. I'll wait. Okay, glad to have you back. Now what we got here is your typical landscape timber turned sideways. There is another term for being turned sideways, but I can't think of what it is at the moment. To the row. That is the wide side to the front and back. In your own garden, using the hole digging device, also known as post hole diggers, or if you're some kind of regular country squire and you have one of those automated corkscrew digger doohickeys on the back of your fine tractor, well, I believe it's called an auger, then auger you out a hole about a foot or a foot and a half deep. Now if you have multiple poles like mine, be sure to go a little deeper on the end poles. Common sense, if you want to get the lightest wire, the store calls it various things, you know, galvanized steel wire, rebar tie wire, galvanized smooth wire, stuff like that. The lightest wire does the job without breaking. That done, we retrieve our handy dandy roll of wire. You will do well to use at least 16 gauge wire, but 14 is better. Anything lighter than that will break and sag. I know this to be true because a couple or 3 years ago, in an effort to be a total cheapskate, I bought lighter wire and it sagged and broke. I harvested all my tomatoes from the ground. The trick to keep from going bug out insane with the stuff is when taking it up at the end of the year, use the elbow to shoulder method, you know, over and under to wrap it up like you would a hose pipe, making sure not to drop any loops. See, you secure the roll in a couple of places with the end of the wire when you're done, and it's ready to go for next season. And next season, if you're careful when you get the stuff out, which I wasn't particularly careful this time, I kind of got snockered a little bit. I may show you that and I may not. If you're careful, the roll will unspool without nary a snag, and usually I don't never have any problem with it. The only first problem I've had in years is when I set the camera up to show you. You know, I suppose one could build a proper little cages using this system if one had double the lines and double the wire. However, Over time, I have found that what you're looking at to be just about right. The bottom wire doesn't need to be very close to the ground either, because the tomato will grow to meet it, especially if you keep the bottom limbs plucked. You'll be seeing me actually tie the tomatoes in the next episode or two. I tie my tomatoes with pantyhose. It's relatively cheap and never hurts the plants unless you purposefully set out to strangle them. Well, you'll see coming up. Today, however, we be stringing. 2 ways to do it, by the way. You can do it like you see me doing, or you can walk down the garden unrolling the whole armload of wire at one time, pulling it back to the poles as you need it. No snaggles for sure doing it that way. Done it both ways. If you have help, you can let the roll toter follow along behind you like a good little puppy dog, unrolling as you need it. You may not even have to keep yelling at them to keep up, and so forth. Help is nice. I'm about ready to get this stringing done for this year. Now, while we're pointed that way, those 2 garden rows over there to the right are okra, you may recall. Can't do much with the stuff until it gets taller than the weeds. It's coming. And, unlike what you may want to believe, I am not trying to show you how to have a successful sod farm. I will have my revenge on the luscious grass carpet a little later, I promise. Another thing you probably noticed, as the old gentleman in the picture show here is quickly and professionally dragging the line, was the proliferance of all kinds of hangy-down things from the wires. So happens that for the most part, those things are tomato markers from years gone by. Strips of cloth supplied by my wife, who is the quilter and cloth strip provider for the family. Also, doing your due diligence watching, you'll note that by cleverly looking at the trees there in the background, that kite flying weather is back on from time to time. Now, this would not have done when we laid the papers down the other day, but it's okay today. Winding down, the wire's all strung and ready. I think we'll end up down here in the afternoon shade seeing how the scuppernongs are coming along. I know that viewers worldwide will have their grapey grapes, but only down south in the good old USA will you find scuppernongs. Massively delicious. Today's video, by the way, happened around the 15th of May, in case you're keeping track on your calendar. Just about to call it a day when suddenly a wild feral beast leaps into view. Could it be the legendary Buttercup Tea Cat? It is! Wow meow! All he wants is your love and your cat food. So adios, garden rangers. Subscribe and so on so you'll know when the next thrilling video comes your way. Tying up the tomatoes. Wow. See ya.